Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagvatam. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagvatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Grantaraj Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1. The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. In the last few verses, we were discussing about absorption in Supreme Lord. Absorption can be anukul, that is favorable, and absorption can also be pratikul. But we read the Prabhupada's wonderful purports that pratikul absorption is not recommended, like Sisupala or Kamsa, etc. So we have to worship Krishna in an anukul or a favorable way. And it's interesting, today morning I was hearing a Prabhupada's lecture, and Prabhupada was talking about this topic of anukulena Krishna. And he mentioned a very nice point which I would like to share, that anukul also means that it's not that anukul means serving in a like a envious mentality or killing of thinking about killing Krishna like Sisupala or Kamsa. Anukul, no, pratikul, that's pratikul. So pratikul does not necessarily mean that, like thinking of killing of Krishna. Pratikul also means that I want to do things my way. I will serve Krishna, but I will serve Krishna the way I would like to serve Krishna. Not what my teachers are asking me to do. Not what my spiritual master. So aligning to the will of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra and serving in that way is anukulena. But aligning to our own will, our own desires, our own mentality to serve Krishna, that's also referred to as pratikul. So that's a very nice point. So let's read the next verse, text number 31. Gopayaha kamad bhayat kamso devashat chadyadayo nripaha sambandhad vrishanyah snehad yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear King Yudhishthira, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Sisupala and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you, Pandavas, by great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service have obtained the mercy of Krishna. Purport: different persons achieve different types of mukti, sayujya, salokya, sarupya, samipya and sarshti, according to their own intense desire, which is called bhava. Thus, it is described here that the gopis, by their lusty desires, which were based upon their intense love for Krishna became the most beloved devotees of the world. Although the gopis at Vrindavan expressed their lusty desires in relationship with a paramour, Parakiya Rasa, they actually had no lusty desires. This is significant for spiritual advancement. Their desires appeared lusty, but actually they were not the lusty desires of the material world. Chaitanya Charitamrita compares the desires of the spiritual and the material world to gold and iron. Both gold and iron are metal, but there is a vast difference in their value. The lusty desires of the gopis for Krishna are compared to gold, and the material desires are compared to iron. Kamsa and other enemies of Krishna merge into the existence of Brahman, but why should Krishna's friends and devotees have the same position? Krishna's devotees attain the association of the Lord as his constant companions, either in Vrindavan or in the Vaikuntha planets. Similarly, although Naradamuni wanders in the three worlds, he has exalted devotion for Narayana, Ashwaryaman. The Vrishnis and the Yadus and the father and mother of Krishna in Vrindavan all have familial relationships with Krishna. Krishna's foster father and mother in Vrindavan, however, are more exalted than Vasudeva and Devaki. Hare Krishna. So Narad Muni is telling this to Maharaj Yudhishthir, that the point is absorption to Krishna. And we discussed that one could be absorbed in different types of rasas, in Aishwarya rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakhya rasa, and there are other secondary rasas also, like Bhaya, etc. But the topmost rasa is expressed as the gopis gave everything for Krishna. So it is not material lust. Prabhupada is very nicely clarifying here. And yesterday also in the purport we discussed that when we talk about material lust or watch material, romantic episodes in television or internet, what will happen? Our material lust will increase. Our desire for opposite sex will increase. But when we hear about Krishna's pastimes, those desires will reduce. Similarly, when we watch fighting of material world, with bombs and guns, etc., the envious mentality, the fighting spirit, the killing propensity, etc., will increase. But when we see Krishna killing the demons, those impurities are diminished, which shows that these pastimes, janma karma cha me divyam, they are divya or transcendental. They are not material fighting or material envy or material lust. This is pure love, because their only intention was to serve Krishna. Atmendra priti ichha tare bole kam, Krishnera priti ichha dhare premanam. When the desire is to serve Krishna and to please Krishna, that is called prema, or pure unalloyed love. That's what gopis had for Krishna. And this is Parakiya Rasa, is the topmost. Of course, we cannot imitate this. We cannot. Therefore, we go step by step and read the Bhagavatam up to the 10th canto. So, Prabhupada also gives the example of gold and iron. Although they may be metal, but they are not same. So, material lust, and ordinary person can think, the gopis are also attracted to other Krishna who's opposite sex, and I'm also attracted to opposite sex, so looks like same, but no, there is big difference. So the point here is that we should worship Krishna in a favorable way, in devotional service, and one will certainly obtain the mercy of the Lord. Any other comments? Anyone or questions?
Hare Krishna. This is Bhadra. Dandavat everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. in this verse, what I get it is there is different emotions are listed for different devotees. And according to their sadhana, they are having those relationships here. Now, as far as the gopis are concerned, because this is an important point, you mentioned few points nicely about the lust. And you mentioned the shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita. In the material world, when I am decorating myself, either man or woman, they are decorating themselves. Then they are decorating to gratify the senses of their own senses, so that other party can get attracted to me, and other party can gratify my senses, and I can enjoy. So that is the lust. But in the case of the gopis also decorate themselves, but they have given whole their life to Krishna. So they are decorating so that the Krishna is happy with their decoration. And Krishna, they want to satisfy Krishna ultimately. So that is and people in the material world don't understand that. And that's why they have the material, they have all this, Kama Sutra and all these things, which is, they put Krishna and go Radha and all these, mundane things. And they don't understand that what is the gopis. And besides their bodies are transcendental. It's on transcendental platform here. The attraction is there. While material world is attraction is, with this material bodies, which is what is it? Which is just made up of, what is it made up of? We all know. See? So that is the difference. So here in this shloka, all these different devotees are mentioned because the Kamsa is doing out of fear. And then of course, it is mentioned the out of fear, Sisupala, of course, out of envy, Yadus because of their family relationship, and the Pandavas because of their friendship. And then last point about the Vasudeva and Devaki. Vasudeva and Devaki, they were Yadavas, and their relationship is, for Vasudeva Devaki's relationship with Krishna is even though Krishna is their son, who is four-handed from Vishnu actually. So their relation, and that's why their relationship with Vasudeva and Devaki was also kind of, they knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the relationship of the Yasoda and the Nanda Maharaj is not that. The relationship is as my son. So it's different. So this shloka is very intricate because it's giving all information of how the different relationships are different devotees have with he mentioned about reverence, Aishwarya Gna, reverence, and all these things. So it says according to the sadhana they achieve the goal, which can be understood by seeing the different statements concerning these persons. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. We'll read the next verse. Yes, Prabir Prabhu, you want to read, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavakra Pranam, Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavakra Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 32. Katamayapina venasya panchanam purusham prati tasmat kanapi upayena mana krishne niveshayat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Somehow or other, one must consider the form of Krishna very seriously. Then by one of the 5 different processes mentioned above, one can return home back to Godhead. Atheists like King Vena, however, being unable to think of Krishna's form in any of these 5 ways, cannot attain salvation. Therefore, one must somehow think of Krishna, whether in a friendly way or inimically. Purport. Impersonalists and atheists always try to circumvent the form of Krishna. Great politicians and philosophers of the modern age even try to banish Krishna from Bhagavad Gita. Consequently, for them, there is no salvation. But Krishna's enemies think, here is Krishna, my enemy, I have to kill him. They think of Krishna in his actual form, thus they attain salvation. Devotees, therefore, who constantly think of Krishna's form are certainly liberated. The only business of the Mayavadi atheist is to make Krishna formless. And consequently, because of these severe offenses at the lotus feet of Krishna, they cannot expect salvation. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this connection, Tena Sisupala vipinna pratikul bhavam didishur jena eva narakam jatiti bhava. Except for Sisupala, those who go against the regulative principles cannot attain salvation and are surely destined for hellish life. The regulative principle is that one must always think of Krishna, whether as a friend or enemy. Hare Krishna. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving emphasis 2 points. One is form of the Krishna. Prabhupada mentioned so many places that the Mayavadis, they don't believe in the form of the Krishna. That is the greatest offense. And because of that, they don't get the salvation. And Prabhupada is giving the example, and we know that before Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, there were so many Bhagavad Gitas, but those were not helpful to general people like me. So, because they took the Krishna off, they didn't mention about Krishna's form. So Prabhupada is mentioning here that first thing for devotional service is to think Krishna as a person. He is a person and worship him according to that. And the second one, Prabhupada is saying that, quoting Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that why we should not think of Krishna as an enemy. Because Sisupala, Dandavakra, they were exceptional cases. For general people like us, we have to think in a favorable way. Then the devotion becomes more effective. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. And in the translation, it says that by one of the 5 different processes, so we know that the 5 different processes, the Shanto Daisya, Pekho Vatsulya, and Madhurya, that, and Mahaprabhu gave emphasis on that. last 4. For Krishna Prabhu, back to you, please add your time.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So what is the difference between Vena and Sisupala's mentality? Just an open question or discussion. Why one? Would anyone like to share? In the mentality of Vena and the mentality of Sisupala. Both were kings. Yes, would someone like to share?
Can I say?
Sure, Prabhu.
Here the main point is we chant the Srila Prabhupada's Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatharine. That's the point is here. Vena is thinking, Vena is thinking, I'm the Lord. I'm Krishna. There is no Krishna. So the first one, so Vena is going to hell because he's not even considering Vena as Krishna as forget about Supreme Person of Godhead, but Vena is saying, I'm the Lord. In case of Sisupala is saying that Krishna is there in front of him, but he is his enemy. So that's why it's mentioned here that is the difference. And that's why it is mentioned here that at least the persons who are thinking inimically of Krishna, they are better than the impersonals and Mayavadis who are completely think no form of Krishna. An atheist completely think that there is no God anyhow. See? So that's what is mentioned here in this sloka. So it's, of course, ultimately we have to think of Krishna favorably as other Prabhu mentioned it. But at least those are based is the favorably, anukulyas way, as you mentioned before. So that's my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Would someone else like to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
So I understand from Prabhuji says that the Vena, I don't know details about the past of Vena, maybe I don't read, but Vena cannot think any of the Krishna's form. He thinks there is no existence of Krishna. So he is the everything. But Sisupala, as I read from the previous verse, in previous life he was the doorkeeper of Lord Krishna. So he can think that this is Krishna and I'm his enemy, so I will kill him. So that is the two difference between the two. And he can think one of his form, Sisupala, and he is not like he's not a like regular demon. He has previous history. He was a person, Lord associate. But I don't know about Vena, but I know that Vena cannot think any of the form of Krishna. He is an atheist. He doesn't think about the existence of the Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. The Vena mentality is that focus is, I am the focus. I, me, and mine. I am the king. Everyone should worship me. Forget everything else. Stop everything else. The focus is myself. That's Vena mentality. And I think in the lesson when we were reading this canto of Vena and Prithu Maharaj and Anga, etc., there was a very nice point mentioned and discussed that we have to kill the Vena mentality within. Otherwise, we cannot think of Krishna. When one is too much absorbed in thinking about one's own self, then one cannot think of Krishna. When one thinks, oh, I should just get more, recognition, I should get, that's Vena mentality. Oh, I did so much service, no one recognized me. Oh, I give such nice class. Oh, I play mridanga nicely, or I cook nicely, I sing nicely, I should get a lot of recognition. That's the Ventina. I am the focus of the whole discussion. That's Vena mentality. So humility or simplicity means to think less about oneself and more about Krishna. Humility doesn't mean to think of less of oneself, but to think. Humility does not mean to think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less. That's a quote by Nanda Maharaj. That means we should not, like the class begins. Oh, I am servant of the servant. I am least deserving. I'm very, very fallen. I'm das anudas. I. And we spend 10 minutes on I. So that's not humility. Humility means to think more about Krishna, and we, from the heart, we understand, and those things should be there in the heart, but not we spend 15 minutes talking about it, that how I am least qualified, or so that's the Vena mentality one must kill. And how can we kill? When we flood our mind with Krishna, then there'll be no room for I. Like when we imagine a container which has dirty water, muddy water. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gives this example. And when we put the container in under the tap of fresh water, so what will happen now? Let's say the concentration of muddy water was 100% before. Now fresh water is going in there, referring to Krishna Katha. Muddy water referring to I consciousness, selfish, lusty consciousness. Now fresh Krishna consciousness, fresh Krishna Katha is going. The pure bhakti is going. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. The concentration of muddy water will go down from 100 to 90, 80, 70, 60, and eventually with the overflow at one point, gradually and surely there will be all pure water. And that's what the process of purification is, Chetodarpana Marjana. But Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is making a very nice point here, that we cannot imitate these Sisupala or Hiranyakashipu, etc. These are exceptions. Otherwise, the general destination is hellish planets. What to speak of themselves, we read Madhvacharya spoke in the previous 26th verse, even their forefathers go to hell. So it's a point of reflection. What is the focus in my life? Is it me or is it Krishna? What is my life centered around? Is it me? Is it Krishna? So Vena doesn't mean, we start killing, or that's external, but the Vena inside, in Kali Yuga, the demon and divine are inside. Okay, any other comments anyone has? Okay. Yes, so someone who didn't read yesterday would like to read text 33.
Yeah, I can read.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna devotees, text 33. Mata swasrayo vas chadayo dantavakrascha Pandava Varsada Pravaru Vishnor Vipras Sapat Padats Chityu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Naradamuni continued, O best of the Pandavas, your two cousins, Sisupala and Dandavakra, the sons of your maternal aunt, were formerly associates of Lord Vishnu, but because they were cursed by Brahmanas, they fell from Vaikuntha to this material world. Purport. Sisupala and Dandavakra were not ordinary demons, but were formerly personal associates of Lord Vishnu. They apparently fell to this material world, but actually they came to assist the Supreme Personality of Godhead by nourishing the pastimes within this world. So this brief verse here just mentions how Sisupala and Dandavakra came to the material world as demons, but in effect by their envious activities, they were actually enhancing the pastimes of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. And so in an indirect way, the different way, they were actually assisting in enhancing the pastimes. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think we covered this point that Sisupala, Dandavakra, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, these were the Jaya and Vijaya in the past, and they are exceptions. So we cannot say, oh, Sisupala was envious, I will also be envious and think about killing Krishna. Well, we can't kill this coronavirus, what to speak of killing Krishna. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful, Indra was like sweeping the floor in his courtyard, in his kingdom. They were very, very powerful. And Krishna, has to experience that rasa of fighting. So they are devotees. They are nourishing his pastime. They are assisting. It all happened. Why they stopped Jain? Why they stopped the four Kumaras? Why four Kumaras cursed? Why all this happened? It is by Krishna's sweet will. So, but in my case, that's not the scenario. I am a Baddha Jiva, conditioned soul, wandering in this world. We are not Nitya Pasha, at least I can say for myself. We are not the, like Arjuna or Jaya and Vijaya, etc. So the normal path is devotional service in a favorable way. These are special souls. They come for a special reason. They have special rasa with the Lord, and then they do those activities or exchange those fighting spirits with the Lord and go back home, back to Godhead to serve in their Nitya Leela. These are not to be imitated. Any other comments? Anyone? Any questions? Okay. Next verse, text 34. Yes, someone who didn't read yesterday, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to read Dandavat Pranam to everyone. Text 34. Sri Yudhishthira Uvacha Idrasaha Kasyava Sapo Hari Dasa Vimarsanaha Asradheya Ivavati Harir Ikantinam Bhavaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaja Yudhishthira inquired, what kind of great curse could affect even liberated Vishnu Bhaktas, and what sort of person could cast even the Lord associates? For unflinching devotees of the Lord to fall again to this material world is impossible. I cannot believe this. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 8.16, the Lord clearly states, Mama upateya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. One who is purified of material contamination and returns home back to Godhead does not return to this material world. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yaveti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mama eti sarjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world. but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Maharaja Yudhishthira therefore was surprised that a pure devotee could return to this material world. This is certainly a very important question. So here, this verse, King Yudhishthira is not believing, like, why Lord's associates who already liberated and go to the Vaikuntha Dham, why they fall down and came back to this material world. He cannot understand. And also from the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that they will never return. But who knows Krishna's plan? Because we know from the Vedic literature that Krishna never comes by himself. He always comes with his associates. And so that's why for the Leela thing, for his Leela, his associates come. So there is some reason why they again come back to this material world. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. So this shows the intensity and curiosity and eagerness and lalyam. All these great devotional qualities are exhibited in the question of Yudhishthira Maharaj. That how they are hearing with rapt attention. We were discussing about this word, rapt attention. And so was exhibited in his grandchild, Parikshit Maharaj. He is also hearing with rapt attention. So, as soon as Naradamuni said, oh, they were cursed by Brahmanas, immediately the next question, how can these great Vishnudutas be cursed? And who can curse? Even in Vaikuntha Loka? So, very interesting question, which shows the eagerness of Maharaj Yudhishthira, hearing with complete absorption. And that's a great lesson for us, that how we should also try to hear Bhagavatam with rapt attention, read, hear, and also ask questions. Asking question is not bad. Depends on what mood we are asking. So, okay. Any other comments? Anyone has other questions? Okay. Someone like to read text 35?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. I would like to read.
Please, Mataji.
Text 35. Dehendriya suhinanam Vaikuntha Puravasinam Deha Sambandha Sambhaddham Etad Akhyatumarhasi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Bhai Charna Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The bodies of the inhabitants of Vaikuntha are completely spiritual, having nothing to do with the material body, senses or life air. Therefore, kindly explain how associates of the personality of Godhead were cursed to descend in material bodies like ordinary persons. Purport. This very significant question would be difficult for an ordinary person to answer, but Naradamuni, being an authority, could answer it. Therefore, Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from him, saying, Etad Akhyatum Arhasi, only you can explain the reason. From authoritative sources, it can be discerned that the associates of Lord Vishnu who descend from Vaikuntha do not actually fall. They come with the purpose of fulfilling the desire of the Lord, and their descent to this material world is comparable to that of the Lord. The Lord comes to this material world through the agency of His internal potency, and similarly, when a devotee or associate of the Lord descends to this material world, he does so through the action of the spiritual energy. Any pastime conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is an arrangement by Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. Therefore, it is to be understood that when Jaya Vijaya descended to this material world, they came because there was something to be done for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, it is a fact that no one falls from Vaikuntha. Of course, a living entity who desires Sayujya Mukti remains in Krishna's Brahman effulgence, which is dependent on Krishna's body. brahmano hi pratisthaham. Such an impersonalist who takes shelter of the Brahman effulgence must surely fall down. This is stated in the Shastra. Bhagavatam 10.2.32 Ye anye aravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayashta bhavad avishuddha buddhayaha aruhya krichrena param padam tatah patanti ado anadrita yusmad angrayaha. O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated but who have no devotion is impure. Even though they rise to the highest point of liberation by the dint of severe penances and austerities, they are sure to fall down again into material existence, for they do not take shelter at your lotus feet. The impersonalist cannot reach the Vaikuntha planets to become associates of the Lord, and therefore, according to their desires, Krishna gives them Sayujya Mukti. However, since Sayujya Mukti is partial Mukti, they must fall again to this material world. When it is said that the individual soul falls from Brahmaloka, this applies to the impersonalist. From authoritative sources, it is learned that Jaya and Vijaya were sent to the material world to fulfill the Lord's desire to fight. The Lord also sometimes wants to fight, but who can fight with the Lord but a very confidential devotee of the Lord? Jaya and Vijaya descended to this world to fulfill the Lord's desire. Therefore, in each of their three births, first as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, second as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and third as Sisupala and Dandavakra, the Lord personally killed them. In other words, these associates of the Lord, Jaya and Vijaya, descended to the material world to serve the Lord by fulfilling his desire to fight. Otherwise, as Maharaj Yudhishthir says, Ashraddheya iva bhati, the statement that a servant of the Lord could fall down from Vaikuntha seems unbelievable. How Jaya and Vijaya came to this material world is explained by Naradamuni as follows. Over to you, Prabhuji, for explanation. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading. So, this verse is also spoken by Yudhishthir Maharaj, further clarifying that in Vaikuntha there is nothing material. So there is no envy, there is no material body, etc. So he is surprised and about this fall down, because we have read that Yadgatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. When one attains back home, back to God at Vaikuntha Loka, there is no returning back. There is only forward gear. So how come these devotees or Vishnu bhaktas fall down? So Prabhupada clarifies in the purport that it is not actually a fall down. It is to nourish the Leela of the Lord, to nourish the Rasa, to nourish the joy of the Lord, who is all happy, but it's ever increasing. So therefore, we discussed this point, they attained Sayujya Mukti, but they later went back to Sarupya and Salokya, referring to Vaikuntha planets, and they attained the Vishnu, the four-handed Vishnu form, and continued their service as Jai and Vijay. And there's a nice drama also I posted recently on the group, which shares all these three pastimes in very brief, and how Naradamuni is telling Jai. It's a very interesting, especially now when we're all at home, we can watch these and engage the kids or do drama with the kids, etc. This is a very nice way to teach the whole family. So this is orchestrated by Mahamaya, the Yogamaya, sorry, not the Mahamaya. The Mahamaya covers the material world, and all these punishments, etc. Adi Bhautik, Adi Advaivik, and the three tridents of the three spokes of the trident of Mahamaya. That's why we are kind of locked in our homes. This is because of the Mahamaya. But for devotees, they are under the influence of Yogamaya. Otherwise, if Jai and Vijay would have thought, okay, he's not our enemy, he's our supreme master, how will they fight? and then the rasa would not be there. Imagine a fight about to begin. Lot of thousands of people have gathered to witness that fight in a wrestling arena or somewhere. And the other person says, no, you are my master and I'm your servant, I accept defeat. Will there be rasa? There is no rasa there. But there is rasa when Hiranyakashipu is fighting, and then Nrsimhadev grabs him, and then Hiranyakashipu gets out of his grip, and then he thinks, he's more powerful than the Lord. And then, the demigods are concerned, what will happen now? So that enhances the sweet pastimes. And a few days back we were reading, there was some question, what happens to the impersonalist? What destination they get? They get the Sayujya Mukti, referring to Brahman effulgence. But what happens next? Prabhupada is so clearly mentioning here, such an impersonalist who takes shelter of the Brahman effulgence must surely fall down. Very clear, must surely fall down. So, because there is no exchange. And Prabhupada is mentioning again in the third paragraph that those who attain Sayujya Mukti is partial Mukti, they must again fall down back to the material world. And then at other points it's mentioned that those who take to Krishna consciousness or pure unalloyed bhakti yoga, devotional service, they have already transcended all these other types of yoga, jnana yoga and the Ashtanga yoga and the other impersonalist path, and they have already millions of lifetime they have spent. So we are very, very fortunate that we have received the topmost process in this day and age, that is the Bhakti Yoga. So the essence is that they didn't fall down, they came to enhance the pastimes and to serve the Lord by fulfilling his desire to fight. So everything comes from the Lord. So is fighting also. He has a desire to fight, therefore fighting is a sport too. But Lord will not fight in Vaikuntha Loka. There will be no exchange there. So he brings his devotees, covers them with the Yoga Maya, and makes him forget that they are fighting with the Lord, and then they fight. And the Lord likes it. Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, this is Bhadra. You mentioned very nicely, and we see the situation that many sadhus, sannyasis, who had taken up the bhakti or on the so-called bhakti, and they are the impersonalists and mayavadis, they didn't come to the conclusion of the real bhakti to the form of the Lord, and we see that they take up the position of the philanthropical work, or opening the school, opening the hospital, or even taking the political part, become a Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha members, whatever it is. We can see that because they have not come to the real bhakti of the loving relation. There is no exchange because they didn't consider the form of the Lord and serving the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Any other comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'm just trying to understand the difference between Yoga Maya and Maha Maya. Is it Yoga Maya is like used by only Supreme Personality to descend some of the people back to this material world, and the Maha Maya means we are all already living. Is that what? Could you please little bit share more on this? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So Krishna's internal energy and the external energy. We have a choice to whom we surrender. And depending upon that choice, we will be controlled by that. the pure devotees, and the eternally liberated souls. Nitya Siddha, like Jai and Vijay. They are Nitya Siddha. They don't come because of some envious mentality towards the Lord. They come because of Lord's choice. Arjuna, Devaki, Vasudeva, Yashoda Mata, etc. They are Nitya Siddhas. They are Jiva Tattva, but Jiva Tattva has three main categories: Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha. Nitya Baddha referring to most of the majority of the beings present in the material world. Eternally Baddha or conditioned. Now they are under the grip of Mahamaya. We say Devi Esha Gunamai Mammaya Durattaya. That is Krishna's external energy. They are under the grip of that, like puppets. But pure devotees, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakritim Ashritaha. The pure devotees are controlled by the Devi Prakriti, by the Krishna's internal energy, referring to the Yogamaya also. So we have a choice, and depending upon how much surrendered we are, we will, we have a choice. Being in Tatastha Shakti, we have a choice. Do we want to serve Krishna's internal energy or Krishna's external energy? And depending upon that, Krishna will, move the gears. Like a pure devotee is called Jivan Mukta Sauchyate. They are under the control of Yogamaya. So whatever happens is not by the Mahamaya, like Prabhupada losing his business. It is the divine arrangement of the Yogamaya for pure devotees. Like Mata Devaki or Mata Yashoda thinking that Krishna, is going to the forest and there are dangers in the forest. How can the Supreme Lord be subjected to any danger? The fear personifies fears him. But it is the Yogamaya Shakti which covers her and makes her forget that Krishna is supreme and makes her think like Krishna is her child and the child needs to be protected. That's the Yogamaya influence. Is that clarified to some extent?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
I can add one more point, if you don't mind.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Purnamasi is the Yogamaya potency, and Krishna, when he comes to perform his pastimes, Krishna himself forget himself. And we see in many pastimes where Krishna forget himself. Because of that Yogamaya potency, Krishna is forgetting himself in his pastimes. But ultimately it was Krishna's desire to do something. And that's how the Purnamasi comes. So we will see in many pastimes of Krishna's pastimes, we will see. And sometimes Krishna, we think, how is it Krishna forget himself like that? But because he is also coming and his Yogamaya potency, Purnamasi, it was acting on him and he forgets. Thank you.
I want to share one verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says that Roshik Shekhar Krishna Parama Korun. Roshik Shekhar is the supreme enjoyer. And he wants to enjoy all the different kind of relationship, different kind of bhavas. So that's one of the bhavas is the chivalrous that he wants. And Parama Korun, if we see in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is giving us the instruction about the enemies. Like, if we don't know the form or how the enemy look like, we can be beaten by this. But Bhagavatam is showing us different, like how the envious joy and through the Hiranyakashipu. Bhagavatam is showing through the Ravanas that how a person can take Krishna's energy, his bhu energy, through the Ravana kidnapping the Mother Sita. So Krishna is in Bhagavatam we see that how the enemy can be it look like, how they act. And if you remember, we saw that to the Indra also in Prithu Maharaj's pastime, that when Prithu Maharaj was trying to finish the 100th Ashwamedha Yajna, Indra was disturbing. And because his son kidnapped him, but his son got Indra, but didn't do anything. And later Brahma actually came and told Prithu Maharaj that not to be too much animosity against Indra. But through the Indra, he was disguised as a sannyasi. Bhagavatam telling us that how in as a general people we can be trapped in this kind of people. So I thought, like, why Krishna is doing, why Joy Vijay came, because he is the Rashik Shekhar. At the same time, he does other purposes. The Parama Karun, he's so kind to us that he's not only giving the positive side, also he's showing us the negative, like instructing us how the envy can be situated in our heart, or the other, how we can use the Krishna's energy, not harmonious with Krishna's energy. And we see that all these things are happening right now because we are not harmony. We are not maintaining our harmony with the nature. Krishna Prabhu, back to you.
Thank you, Prabhu. You nicely mentioned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other comments or questions before we stop today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one quick question. So, in my childhood at least, the older generation, they're devotees of the Lord, and they keep saying this is parikshan from the Lord. So this is a test. So is that the right understanding, or like if that's true, then that means Yoga Maya is trying to test a devotee to see if they're doing the right thing even in difficult circumstances, or should the right mode be that actually it is our own karma that's causing the bad situation? Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice question. It all depends on how much surrender a person has. So, if a person is completely 100% Krishna conscious, and once everything is his body, mind, words are used for devotional service, then one takes the arrangement of the Lord. And that certainly is. Because if one has completely taken shelter of Guru and completely following the instructions of the Guru, so then yes. But if we are just so-called devotees and the prime focus is sense gratification and I consciousness, then the Lord does not interfere directly. Lets the Maya take care of based on actions and reactions. So it all depends on how much one is surrendered. One, I think, is Amoglila Prabhu. This one. So I'll read something from Krishna book. My wife just brought this. A devotee takes even an unfavorable condition to be special favor of the personality of Godhead. Actually, there are no unfavorable conditions for a devotee. Knowing that everything is coming by the will of the Lord, he sees every condition as favorable, and in any condition of life, he is simply enthusiastic to discharge his devotional service. So that's referring to those who have taken complete shelter. But those who have not done so, then the Mahamaya energy will take care. So I was referring to His Grace Amoglila Prabhu. So he said, oh, these planet influence, Kundali and all, how much will they act? How much will this influence, the karmic influence, etc.? So he replied very nicely. And I think he quoted Prabhupada and other Vaishnavas. If one is 100% Krishna conscious, then the influence of these things is 0%. If one is 50% Krishna conscious, then 50% these things will influence. If one is 10% Krishna conscious, then 90% other things will influence. Krishna. Does that clarify, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Thank
you. I think we'll stop here and continue tomorrow with the next verse. Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha, Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.